voice. Well, thank you guys for coming to today's panel. My name is Adam Wozni. I head up community for the Akash Network. If you have questions or interested in the Akash Network, want to learn more, come grab me after the end of this. But today I'm joined by a handful of awesome panelists. I'm really excited to kind of speak with each of you and talk about Web3 and AI. I want to kind of kick it off because we are behind schedule. So first up, I'm going to introduce, she likes to go by Jen. Oh, Jen, there you are. Hey.
Hey.
I'm going to introduce you as Dr. Jennifer Dodgson, co-founder, chief AI officer at Kit Protocol. I saw you speak 5 languages. Is that true?
Oh, well, I used to at one point. I've forgotten most of them, but yeah.
Okay. I can barely speak English, so 5 is better than that. Next up, I don't think Josh is here. It looks like Josh got caught in the rain, so sorry, Josh, but I'm not going to introduce you. We'll move on to Simone.
I'm covering for Sawan. He got sick.
Well, so what's your name?
Shuaib.
Shuaib, nice to meet you. I know nothing about you, so quick introduction for you. I'll let you do yourself. Yeah.
Absolutely. No, thank you. It's great to be here, everybody. My name's Shuaib. I've been working in the AI space for far too long, just like probably everybody else here. But really, I'm a co-founder at Botanica with Sawan Kim, and really just trying to understand how we can optimize data storage with AI. And really kind of make it much more efficient than what it currently is, and coming up with new processes and new technologies to support that. So super excited to be here and talk about it.
Perfect, short and sweet, just the way I like it. Glad to have you. The other guy that was supposed to be here, you're better. I'm into you. Yeah, this is good. Yeah. Next up, we have Ratish Naran. Oh wow, I'm gonna butcher your last name. I'll let you say your last name.
Yeah, it's Ratish Narayanan.
That's way better than I would have said it. Director of Community Relations at Gaia. You live in Dubai, is that correct? What's the crypto AI vibe in Dubai?
I think Dubai currently is trying to place themselves as a crypto slash AI slash blockchain capital of the world. So the regulatory benefits and the tax benefits, it's super attractive for guys in the space. So we have a lot of AI companies now that have moved and registered in the free zone. So, yeah.
Very cool. Hello? This thing got quiet all of a sudden. Hello? Does it work?
Oh, is it my turn? Yeah. Hey, what's up?
And we got one more.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
Jeff from Open. I'm the developer relation. Open is a merger of RSS3. Previously, we were RSS3. We actually just had launch party yesterday, so it's day 1 for Open. And so it's a merger of RSS3, Open Information Initiative, and a bunch of important modules. What we do is we're focusing on 2 things. One is information abstraction, and second is compute abstraction. For the information part, wait, should I be more concise?
I saw you went to UC San Diego, is that right?
No, that's the founder. He won't be able to make it.
You took. Got it. Everyone's taking over for everyone's slot. It's raining out. We'll blame the rain. Yeah. And last up, we have Luki Song, head of ecosystem at Chainbase. I read that you were a storyteller on LinkedIn. Is that correct?
Yes, so and I misspelled storyteller. There's a gap. I put story space teller, so it sounds like I'm actually a bank teller. But no, I love stories. I love being the.
What's your favorite kind of story? That's what action adventure, romance, true crime. What's your go-to?
Oh, Disney for sure.
Disney? That's good.
Yeah,
We'll take
Tangled.
it. We'll take it.
Well,
I think the next panel is the Disney panel.
I love it.
Cool. So as I mentioned, we are behind schedule, so I'm going to jump right into the questions. Feel free to kind of jump in, anybody, when you feel comfortable. And if you're running on, I'll be very comfortable in cutting you off. So make it short and sweet so everyone can kind of jump in. But how do you guys see AI and Web3 complementing each other in ways that neither technology could achieve alone? Whoever's holding the mic can go first.
Yeah, I can get this. I can get this if the mic is working. Yeah, I think what we've seen recently is 2 things going on in the AI sector in particular. The first is obviously a lot of regulatory capture by the big companies. So there's been this concerted campaign against open source, against people developing their own models and doing stuff on their own by Microsoft, by OpenAI, and so on and so forth. And in response to this, and partly just in response to the fact that they're in government and they like making laws, governments have been making laws to restrict the kinds of AI you're trying to use, or restrict the size, or whatever it is they want to restrict. So that means that AI is, in a lot of countries, it's in a sort of gray area right now. Some models are legal, some are on the way to being illegalized, some are being legalized, and it's a very sort of legally confusing time if you're in AI. But if you have blockchain payments and so on for inference, then you can kind of abstract away all of those problems, because it's a purely online phenomenon at that point, and you have actually genuinely free AI that isn't controlled by the monopolies, isn't controlled by the governments, and so on. So yeah, that's what we're fighting for at KIP.
Lukey, go for it.
Oh, okay. Because you said whoever has the mic will talk. I figure I have the mic.
Go
Okay,
for it.
perfect. I got the energy, so I can talk. Anyways, so I just wanted to cover AI really is. Well, we have our professor over here, so you guys can talk a little bit more about the technical side. But AI really is about. I don't think this is working, so I don't really.
Yeah, can we get these mics working? I don't know who's running the microphone system, but they've gotten quieter by the second.
So anyways, AI really is about what? Data, model, and compute. And when we're talking about Web3, it's about the decentralization. It's about everyone having that slice of a pie. So when we talk about compute, now we have those deepin projects out there for the computation power. And we have data. We have different chain-based where data network work with Web3 data and incentivize the data providers and data curators. And then we have another one that's a model. So when you look at the Hugging Face, there are so many different models. Llama 3, it was downloaded 440,000 times actually. So all those different pieces together, and if you have the contribution, you contribute to this ecosystem, you need to get incentivized. And also just having that Web3 out there, where we're here talking about open source in the Web3. A lot of things are actually built on top of each other. So this is a way for us to innovate together, AI and Web3. Another thing I want to say is all those deep fakes out there. It's actually really scary that you can fake someone's voice or someone's video. And so by having the blockchain as the technology, we can actually trace back to see if that's legitimate or not. So a lot of things that we can work together by using Web3 and AI.
That's a great, actually I want to maybe quick follow-up for you, Lukey. Do you know any projects that are actively doing that with the photo generation and tracking it through the blockchain to prove that it is an actual image of someone? We got to get on that out here, builders. Sorry, was just curious.
No, I'm actually really curious too, because I knew that's like one of the things that we're talking about. That's one thing that AI and Web3 can actually build together. But I don't know a specific protocol that actually has that achievement yet.
I don't think there is currently any, but I'm sure there's I have two that are closely working in the same area. So I think, so you were.
Yeah. No, I was just going to say real quick, just to add what Lukey was saying. I really think that the opportunity of how you can leverage privacy and security with blockchain and AI, especially like in terms of what I've seen, like my experience-wise, is that there's a really big push in terms of protecting models, protecting like training data. So being able to disperse that information across these nodes, it becomes very difficult to hack, right? And so one of the things is this whole notion of adversarial AI, and how do you protect against it? And like even like deepfakes, like you were mentioning, that's something that I've studied in terms of information warfare. So, that, and I think another really cool aspect of using both technologies is being able to access data in disconnected or degraded environments, right? Which is really huge for like, I've worked like in the intelligence communities. Sharing information is super important, right? It's very timely. Like even if it's like a minute late, it's too late, right? So stuff like that is important. And then also I would say another really cool use case is crisis management, right? So we're actually working with the Saudi government and implementing crisis management solution because they want to have real-time access to data regardless of connectivity. So yeah, just a couple of cool use cases, I think.
Very cool. Anything else to contribute? Otherwise, I'll move on to another question.
Yeah, just want to say Web3 and AI, I think, is very much different on different side of the spectrum. Where Web3 is all about bottom-up collaboration, and AI is about like top-down control. But in that sense, that we're all here because we believe that there's room for them to collaborate. From my point of view, I think that most part Web3 provide is a guardrail for ethical issues. In our like current world, we usually like a big portion of people, they live by law, which is using law as their baseline, but neglecting a lot of ethical things. And that's why the world is a little bit disrupted right now. And I think Web3 provide that guardrail to be more equitable of distribution of resource, to be more democratized, etc. So I think that's why we need a Web3, and we need some people who care about this to push forward.
Very cool. Oh,
Can
you
I
got
say?
something? Yeah, go for it.
I think the perfect example, whatever I've heard from the panelists here, you guys should check. I don't usually do this, no shill, but you guys should check out guynet.ai. We are in that exact intersection where AI meets Web3. Usually, what I say is, we're the best of AI with the benefits of Web3. So it's exactly what he said, and you guys can check it out, and probably we could jam one-on-one later.
So we're just talking about how AI and Web3 can complement each other. I want to talk a little bit, you're kind of mentioning earlier regulations, Jen. I want to talk a little bit about kind of data and governance. How do you think we can balance the data-hungry nature of AI with Web3's emphasis on privacy and decentralization?
Yeah, so this is something we were just actually talking about with some of the guys from HackQuest, the fact that OpenAI just faced its first big lawsuit about the use of data and won. Which, yeah, fair play to them. They took a risk on this and they won the case, so they're doing quite well right now. So what I think the situation that we're in right now is literally the only way to protect your stuff is to find your own ways that are not legal ways, that are technical ways to protect it, and Web3 is one of those ways. So yeah, definitely.
Just want to add real quick to that. So I think from a technical perspective, there's approaches even within AI/ML, right, for privacy preserving, in terms of encrypting the data, keeping it safe. But then obviously when you take that to Web3 as well, dispersing the information, fragmenting, all that fun stuff, encryption, it makes it very difficult, right, to kind of hack that and then be able to bring that together. But I also think that it also needs to be community driven too, right? In terms of, because I think the biggest problem we have right now is, at least in the US, like there's no like standards or benchmarks for how to build these models, like from a safety perspective or from an ethical perspective. So having like a DAO or something like that when it's actually working and efficient, I think would be a really cool mechanism for open source involvement, like how to develop the community, how to prioritize models and things like that. So.
Are any of you guys, actually you brought up DAOs, are any of you guys familiar with any like AI DAOs right now? Like kind of like open sourcing or, yeah.
Well, actually, I think a guy will be the perfect person to, Radish will be the perfect person to talk regarding the data DAO, because you guys just integrated with the Vana, right?
Yeah, we did. So Vana is basically a data DAO, right? They have, I don't know what the limit is, but they have almost all the Reddit data in a format that they're cleaning up. We have a sample set that our hackers are using currently at the Hacker House. Soon they'll have Resume DAO. These are different DAOs for different purposes built in. So similarly, we'll have soon AI DAO that's coming out, and I think second quarter next year we'll have a DAO at Gaia as well.
Yeah, I think this is a really interesting will have all different DAOs from different media platforms. So we will have a Reddit DAO or LinkedIn DAO. And I'm a user of LinkedIn. I opt in to provide you this information. And they have some sort of a protocol to make the data private as well. So if I am an AI training protocol that I want to use this data, I will have to comply with what the rule is.
Yes.
So I think it's a really cool. The power actually is going back to the users.
Amazing point. Not only power, your data is being paid for. Today, all the LLMs are there, or whatever you put on the net, all your personal data is being used to these companies to monetize, but it never comes to you guys as users, right? And what you just mentioned, your data will be used and you'll be compensated for it. That's the future we see, right?
Also, I just want to have one thing to add. Sure.
Oh, actually, that worked really well. Let me hear. I'll do the third one. Go ahead.
All right. Okay. Well, I feel like I'm in some sort of a new press conference. But anyways, I think this works or not. So one thing that I do want to mention is that talk about those public data or personal data. If that's the data that's able to be used, it's already used. So look at all those models. At the end of the day, you see a lot of models have the similar performance. They provide similar results because they all use the same kind of a data. So I would say that I'm really interested in knowing more about those synthetic data that's being generated. What's the rule? What's the policy? What's the guardrail regarding those synthetic data generation in order to train different models? I think that will be something that in the future people are going to be thinking about. Instead of using my real data, actually I can use the synthetic data to train those models and provide better results.
Can I just add to that real quick?
Oh, yes.
So just to follow up to that, so a lot of the work I did was in synthetic data. So like for instance, people that are purchasing homes, we had to basically anonymize their data because it's sensitive PII data. But then what you can also do is kind of use that as a data set, but then build artificial data on top of that, right? And the cool thing is that you can fluctuate the parameters too, right? So you can do like sensitivity analysis and things like that. And just, you can basically grow that data set however big you want it, which, we talk about data intensive models, that's what's needed, so yeah, it's a really cool approach.
Yeah, I like if you guys don't know about synthetic data, I think that will be a great topic to talk about.
Yeah, absolutely. And the other thing about that too is that it's cheap, right? Because there's other issues with privacy, getting data. I mean, there's obstacles a lot of times, so it's just a lot easier.
But then it could also be contaminated.
It could be biased,
Yeah.
right? So that's
Anyways.
So we kind of covered. I'm going to kind of get to the wrapping up here soon, but we've covered how Web3 and AI complement each other. We kind of talked about some of the issues with regulation, kind of what are the things that people need to be concerned with. I want to talk a little bit, and we've talked a little bit about the future of kind of what this stuff looks like. Like we're still looking for someone to build a blockchain-enabled image generator to prove out that an image is of a human and not of a fake. Yeah, exactly, deep fakes. But kind of looking ahead 3 to 5 years, what novel applications or use cases do you expect to see emerge from the convergence of AI and Web3? And this one, maybe we'll just run down the whole panel, maybe starting with Lukey.
Oh, I've been talking, so maybe start from there.
All right, we'll start with Jen at the end, and then we'll work back.
Well, if I knew that, I would be off buying them right now and not sitting here. But yeah, I think personalized models, I think that's a big thing. You tokenize your own personal model, and then your grandchildren inherit your models one day down the road. That is something that's quite interesting. Obviously, I've heard a lot of people talk about AI agent trading, and I've got to say I'm less convinced by that, just because statistical learning is more effective usually and faster and more reliable. So I'm less persuaded by agent-based trading, but yeah, personal models definitely. That would be my big alpha, I think.
So as in future outlook, I would think that in 3 to 5 years, I think currently AI is like very much a trending narrative, but I do believe that the current infrastructure is not in place in terms of not enough bandwidth, the GPU is not fast enough. We're not really ready to build like a usable, I would say like the thing that we'll use in your daily life. So although we're riding this trend, I do think that it's kind of like a 2021 DeFi summer. We'll see a slump, and then we'll go up from there, and then next time I think we will be able to see like more and more usable application to be able to flourish.
Yeah, I think from like a macro level first, I think that I think that we're going to move more from like predictive type models in Web3 to more prescriptive type models, where predictive is more like yeah, you're trying to predict the future or whatever, forecasting, but then taking that a step further on the prescriptive side, where it's actually taking action and making decisions. On a more like personal level, or like a recommendation on engine on steroids kind of thing. But I think from a personal kind of interest standpoint, I love robotics. I think it's just so dope. And I'm a big Marvel fan. I love Marvel, and just it's such a big inspiration, and ideas and stuff. And so like I want to see like, yeah, crazy like robot, swarms and all that fun stuff. I mean, they're already doing it with drones, so why can't they do it with robots? Come on, Optimus, let's go.
I would like to see anything done in the DeFi space, predominantly just adding to what you were saying, more like agent to agent, interactions happening, trading happening, transaction happening between agents with zero human interference. That's what I would expect to see. We're experimenting with one, which is fully autonomous hackathon. No people. How many of you are devs here? Okay. How many of you got your bounties that you won in a day after the hackathon? How many of you? None, right? So that's a big challenge. So what we're trying to do is build 3 agents. One is an organizer agent, one is a judging agent, and one is a bounty agent. So 3 of them interact with each other. You guys participate in the hackathon, you get judged, and automatically if you're a winner, the bounty agent kind of sends you USDC or whatever token that is to your wallet. So we're trying it. I know it's a long shot. Like he mentioned, there's a lot of work to do. The data that we get most of the time is not clean. Agents hallucinate. A lot of stuff happens. But I think we'll get there.
A lot of amazing apps you guys are talking about. I think in next 3 to 5 years, it's more of a collaboration of open source, closed source, decentralization, and centralization. Especially right now, we're talking about computation power caches over here. If you look at NVIDIA's investment, if you invest in NVIDIA like 6 years ago, or 2012, I was looking at the math. For $6 billion, it's a 20-fold of increase. So you could make $120 billion of increase. So and you can see like how powerful it is, and a lot of AI training protocols are leaning on NVIDIA, that kind of powerhouse. So, but that's needed because when you're doing model training, I'm sure everyone here knows that you need to have those clusters to be in one place. Decentralization really sometimes it's not that efficient for training models. So I hope that 3 to 5 years that people realize the collaboration of centralization and decentralization. There's a chance, there's an opportunity for us to collaborate with Cache for the decentralized computation power. But at the same time, if we need a mass amount of data, if we need to train a big, heavy labor intense model, we probably have to go to a centralized solution. So I think that will be not novel solution for us, but like a milestone for us to know that there's a way for us to collaborate and leverage each other's resources and power.
I don't know what to do with the microphone. I don't know how they always end up over here. All right, so we're gonna do a quick lightning round, just one question. What's something that you guys want to leave everyone here watching this recording at home with in regards to Web3 and AI that we haven't covered today? You have all the mics, so it has to be you.
I was waiting for someone else to say, but I can say for Radish, Gaia.net. Yeah, join Gaia.net. One thing since we just mentioned about synthetic data, I think this is something that it's really interesting. I'm not here to sell chain-based to everybody. I think that's just a knowledge base of a topic that we can all do some research about. And also, I don't know why I'm holding the mics like this. Another thing I do want to mention is, actually, I don't remember what I was going to mention, but yes, synthetic. Oh, yes, federated learning. So we talk about the privacy, we talk about user data and stuff like that. Another topic that you guys, I recommend you do some research is the federated learning. I think that's a really cool concept. The data's being protected, but also the data is used to train models for better good use.
Yeah. Just get some more Bitcoin, guys. It's going to go a long way. But on a serious note, I'd say check out like Yuki started it. Check out GaiaNet.ai. I'd encourage everybody to build an own agent and try to see how that goes. Because trust me, guys, in the future, there's a lot of things that'll be done on your personal data that you guys own, right? So I think, if you get started early, you have that first mover advantage, I think. So everybody should have their own agent, yeah?
Yeah, I think from my side, it's edge intelligence. And, so one of the things that we're seeing now is, how you can basically deploy like deep learning and all these advanced models on the edge in a distributed manner, right? So if you think about like the whole ML ops, right, how you can split it amongst nodes, whether it's data validation or it's model development or inference, and really, what are the advantages of doing that from a resource utilization standpoint, from an energy efficiency standpoint. So I think that's really cool. And then, obviously doing it in Web3, you can keep those things running even if there's no connectivity. So I think that's a really big opportunity there too. So yeah.
I guess what I'm excited for is to see digital replica. In terms, this agent will be able to talk like you, speak like you, do things like you. Oh, right. It'll be very good to see, but I do have some concerns over like some regulations in terms of like, if this agent do anything unethical or break the law, do you have to be responsible for it? And yeah, very excited to see how that goes, and especially you can combine it with robotics like you mentioned. Yeah, so if that's gonna be like the truth, there's gonna really be a doppelganger that really looks like you, talks like you, and do things like you. I'm very excited to see that coming.
Yeah, I think probably, yeah, that's where the deep fake detector comes in. It's a battleground at this point. Yeah, I think probably the big thing that we are going to see is one thing that I did just mention earlier, is trading uncensored models. And obviously crypto is a great way to do that. And we've actually seen it happening already. So there are people on Black Hat World right now trading uncensored models, and they will sell API access in Bitcoin or whatever. Whether that is, a version of GPT that's had most of the RLHF stripped by a brief fine tune, or whether it's a refusal vector ablated version of Llama or whatever. If you want to get the version that is uncensored, that won't give you the politically correct answer, that will do things that are maybe a bit dodgy, yeah, you need to get your hands on an uncensored model, and Web3 is a good way to do that.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys for bearing with us and having this panel started a little bit late. Thanks for folks joining that weren't supposed to be on the panel. And thank you guys for watching this. And thanks to HackQuest and Gate Ventures for throwing this on.